unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. The mind is like an iceberg. It floats with 1/7 of its bulk above water. One day, in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful. The first human being who hurled an insult instead of a stone was the founder of civilization. The voice of the intellect is a soft one, but it does not rest until it has gained a hearing. The great question that has never been answered, and which I have not yet been able to answer, despite my 30 years of research into the feminine soul, is what does a woman want? The mind is its own place, and in itself can make a heaven of hell, a hell of heaven. Most people do not really want freedom, because freedom involves responsibility, and most people are frightened of responsibility. The mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled. The ego is not master in its own house. The goal of all life is death. Where ID was, there shall ego be. Men are more moral than they think and far more immoral than they can imagine. The interpretation of dreams is the royal road to a knowledge of the unconscious activities of the mind. The more perfect the artist, the more completely separate in him will be the man who suffers and the mind which creates. Out of your vulnerabilities will come your strength. The only person with whom you have to compare yourself is you in the past. What a distressing contrast there is between the radiant intelligence of the child and the feeble mentality of the average adult. We are never so defenseless against suffering as when we love, never so helplessly unhappy as when we have lost our loved object or its love. We are what we are because we have been what we have been. The madman is a dreamer awake. From error to error, one discovers the entire truth. The mind is like a piece of paper on which every impression leaves its mark. Every normal person, in fact, is only normal on the average. His ego approximates to that of the psychotic in some part or other and to a greater or lesser extent. The first requisite of civilization is that of justice. If youth knew, if age could. A civilization which leaves so large a number of its participants unsatisfied and drives them into revolt neither has nor deserves the prospect of a lasting existence. The mind is its own place, and in itself can make a heaven of hell, a hell of heaven.